that life is so precious. It's so precious. Do you know what's going to happen tomorrow? Do you know that you're going to be alive tomorrow? We plan for the future. We plan for things to happen later on. But do we know we're going to be there? Do we know things are going to happen? I have no idea. And today's talk with Hanifa has made today so special because I started to realize how important it is to be in the moment, to understand that it's about today and not tomorrow and not the past. It's about right now. What if all of a sudden you find out that you have a disease that you could die? You could die today, you could die tomorrow, you could die in a few days. Hanifa talks about her few days about cancer and how she finds out she has cancer. And everything that we can do right now, she can't do at all with all the chemotherapy that she has to take. What would happen to you if you find out today something is wrong, but you have all these plans for the future? Have you thought maybe I have everything right now and I am so proud of myself and I'm grateful for the things that I have? Or do you regret a few things? Let's listen to Hanifa talk today about everything that she's gone through. See you inside. Hi, Hanifa. Thank you so much for being here today. A few days ago, I remember we were talking and I just am so happy for you to be here. I'm excited for your story. I'm excited for the fact that you're here. There's so much that you have, so much that I want the audience to listen to. And there's no one better to do it than you. So thanks for being here. Before we get started, of anything that you're going to say today to change this world, to change the women around us, just introduce yourself, what you do, how many kids you have, and when you're ready, you can just start.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that introduction. I enjoyed our phone conversation, and so I'm so blessed and happy that you've invited me to your platform. So yeah, my name's Hanifa. I'm originally from Calgary, but live in Edmonton. I'm a mom of two. I have a 8-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. I've been a social worker for 16 years, working with the government. And yeah, just been I guess what I thought was my purpose was helping those dealing with, difficulties of the world, vulnerable children. And so I've worked with people in different capacities over the last 16 years in Alberta.
That's amazing. You have a lot of spark in you. There's so much about you that when I see you, I'm so amazed with the changes that you've made in your life. You do know that we've known each other for many years, right? Like we've actually grown up together in Calgary. That's the most amazing part about this, is the fact that we are able to communicate today, being at where we are right now and being even closer than we were as kids, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm excited for your story. So a few years ago, I was told that you had a big story and you were ready to share it to the world. Let's share that story, because that story is going to change everyone today.
Let's do it. Yes. I am ready to share with the purpose of, maybe it's my social work background, but with the purpose of helping not only people, but I think mothers and women. So so in 2019, late 2019, I was having these stomach issues. I was working out. I was at my fittest. Like, we all want to lose those 5 pounds. And I did. I lost those 5 pounds, feeling really good, clean eating. My sister was getting married. So I was like, I need to fit into these outfits and be the star of the show. Forget her. So I was like working really hard, but feeling really good. But during that time, I was having these tummy problems. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just cut out coffee, cutting out different things. Maybe it's caffeine. Lay's chips and I broke up. So I was like, okay, it's not that. So trying to figure things out. And then it would come and go, come and go. So, when it was here, I would try and pay more attention, but then when it was gone, I would kind of forget about it. So I didn't really look into it further at that time. And then in December 2019, it just got super bad, like just vomiting, lethargic. And I was like, I don't think this is coffee, like something's going on. So in early January 2020, I went to Emerge, did various tests, and they said, well, maybe it's colitis. Like we think, your bowel looked a bit like your colon, like it looked a bit inflamed. So I talked to like a dietitian to go over, if it's mild colitis, what are some foods that you can eat and things like that. And I was like, I don't think that's it. Like I'm doing that, and it just didn't feel right to me. Like what we were talking about or what they were saying, it didn't sit well with me. I was like, no, I don't think that's it. But there's something, because you just don't vomit and feel sick like that. A couple of weeks came around, went by, and I was still feeling really bad. And then it got to a point where I didn't eat for almost 5 days. I couldn't, like nothing was staying down, and just constant vomiting. So I went back into Emerge and did some further testing. And yeah, and so I did an x-ray and they said, yeah, like you're blocked up. And I was like, okay. And so then they referred me to general surgery and did a contrast CT. So just more testing to figure out what's happening. And I remember being rolled to the CT scan and then rolled back, like it felt like 5 minutes later. And I was rolled back and the surgeon was sitting there. And yeah, he said, we found a tumor and it lit up like a Christmas tree, and we're going to do surgery. And I was like, everything just happened so fast. Like it was just so fast. And then yeah, and then he said, we're going to treat this tumor as cancer until we do pathology. And so those who know me know that I have a bit of a trucker mouth. And so I said some choice words to him and told him it was the lady beside me in the next curtain. It's not me. And as I didn't believe it. And then he started explaining things to me, like what they're going to do and how much approximate colon they'll take out and all of that stuff. And it was literally just a different language to me, just a different language. And then he mentioned something, you're going to have a colostomy bag. And I was like, a what? Like, what is this? What is a bag? Like, what are these things you're saying to me? And so he really explained things to me, but I think it went one year and out the other, because I was just in shock. Like, this can't be me. I'm at my healthiest. I have 2 little babies at home. Like it can't be me. And so he left, and then these 2 nurses flew in, lifted up my gown, wrote a bunch of letters and numbers on my stomach, asked me where I wear my pants, and I literally was like, okay, well, they did arts and crafts on my stomach. Like, I have no idea what's going on. And so then it was about, I think, 9 p.m. that I went in for surgery. That's when they had an open OR. And yeah, so went in for surgery. And then when I came out of surgery, the first thing I did was I like lifted my gown and I saw the colostomy bag, like there was stitches. And then I saw the colostomy bag. And prior, when he was explaining it to me, he said, you know, it's going to be temporary, but we don't know what that means. It really depends on your pathology. It really depends on a few factors, but our hope is it'll be temporary. And so when I looked at the colostomy right after, I don't know if I was still high on the hospital medication or what was happening, but in my mind, I was like, okay, well, this thing is going to be with me for I don't know how long. And I need to normalize things. I need things to be normal. I need this to be normal. I need to be okay with it because I have to go home and explain this to my kids. I don't even know what I'm going to say to them. And so, again, I don't know if it was the hospital drugs, but I named my colostomy bag Luca.
Look.
And so, so that day forward, even till now, my kids know Luca. And that's this whole time. So from January 2020 to today, Luca is part of my life. And now I've come to a point where Luca saved my life. But that was like a huge journey. But the day of surgery, I was like, okay, hi Luca. And I don't know how long we're going to be together, but let's do this. I have no choice but to do it because it's now stuck on me.
Yeah.
So I was in the hospital for about 8 days. And then I was released. And then I think it was about, I don't know, I can't even remember, maybe 7-10 days. But my pathology came back, and I was diagnosed with stage 2-3 colon cancer. And I thought my world shattered when I was first told I had a tumor, but I think I still had a bit of hope that maybe it wasn't cancer. And my world shattered even more than it was. And I think because for me, people who I only know a couple of people who had survived cancer.
Yeah.
But I know more people who passed away from cancer. And that scared the living daylights out of me. I had just turned 40. I have my 2 kids. So it just, it was, it shattered my world. And then appointments started. And at this time, when I found out about pathology, and then had appointments with my oncologist, it was right at the start of the pandemic as well. And so not only was this happening, but then the pandemic was just starting. I think lockdown in Alberta had just started. And so it was like a movie. It was just crazy. And so when I met my oncologist, he went over my pathology results again and talked about the cancer. And he said, at this time, we're wanting to do chemo because we had removed 18 lymph nodes, and one of the lymph nodes had a slight, had some cancer cells. And so we want to blast it. We want to blast her whole body to make sure that there's nothing left, because seeing that in your lymph node kind of tells us that it was starting to travel. And with colon cancer, it travels high up, and then once it reaches your lungs, then you're making different arrangements and you're having different conversations, is basically what I was told. And so it was like, let's do it. Let's do it. And so April 9th was my first round. I was on IV chemo as well as oral chemo. And so each round for me lasted 3 weeks, and I had 8 rounds to do. And for me, the chemo combination that I was on the biggest side effect was neuropathy, which is really like the numbness of your hands and your feet, and sensitivity to cold. So my oncologist said, like, keep gloves around the house, and just protect your hands, protect your, it was winter in Alberta, I was still winter in April. So, just, he's like said, sweaters and scarves, and then talked about the throat as well, that sometimes when your neck gets cold, you'll feel like you can't breathe. You're breathing, but it feels like everything's closing. So there was all these side effects he talked to me about. And I think in my mind, I was like, man, that's not going to happen to me. Like, I'll be fine. It's not going to happen to me. But it happened to me. And so my world changed. I wasn't able to go into the fridge, for example. I had to wear gloves. Otherwise, it was impossible. Like, it was painful, and a whole bunch of things. Even doorknobs, like our doors they have metal knobs. I couldn't even open or touch it without a glove. And so my world changed because I wasn't able to do the stuff that us moms always do. Give my kids a bath. I would have to, the days where I felt good, I would have to wear gloves to turn on the tap. And, it was frustrating. And I spent a majority of my days in bed, or my head in a toilet, because you are sick, you are lethargic, you can't move. The color of my skin changed, the way that my body felt changed, everything. There was a lot of loss. There was just loss of my independence, loss of my freedom, loss of just things that we take for granted, like opening a fridge, closing a door, walking. I was pretty unsteady sometimes because of the neuropathy, because it just feels like constant pins and needles. So even walking from one room to another, I realized how much I took that for granted because I wasn't able to do that. And that's when I think I got into a tailspin. I'm not able to do that. I can't do that. I can't sit with my kids. I can't bathe my kids. I can't drive my kids. I can't go to the park with my kids. I can't. There was a lot of can'ts. And I reached out to counseling. There was counseling offered with the Cross Cancer Institute here in Edmonton. And I think we're our worst enemies sometimes, because my internal war was the expectations of myself as a mom and what I was able to do versus my reality of right now is what can I physically, emotionally, and mentally do. And there was a constant conflict and a constant war, is that I need to be doing this, but I can't do this. And it was constant. And so it was not good. So I reached out to counseling and had a lot of sessions, a lot of cry sessions. And one thing she said to me is, you're so focused on what you can't do. That's all you're focusing on. That's all you're talking about, is what you can't do. And when you're focusing on that, your days are, you're telling me that your days are worse. You feel bad, you feel guilty, and that's when your body just reacts to it. And I never experienced a panic attack or anxiety attack before this, and I could actually like feel my body just reacting. So in our sessions, she would say, list me off things that you can do. What can you do? Like physically, what can you do right now? So her and I worked on a list together, and some things where, I can read my kids a story. I might be in my bed, but I can read a story to them. I can do crafts with them. And then I was like, but I can't bake. And she's like, no, this is not the can't list. What can you do? So said some of those things, and I said, you know, there are moments like in the day where I feel like I have a little bit of energy, and so I can go downstairs and I try and sit with them. The weather was getting nicer, so I said, you know, I can go outside for a few minutes and sit on the deck. We made a list of, and she made me write it down, what I can do. And so she said, put it beside you. So every day you look at your can list. And it took a little bit of practice, because it was just natural for me to go to, I can't do this. I want to bake, or I want to drive, or I want to, and I can't. And so it took a little bit of practice, but it was amazing that when I started to do the things that I can do, like reading a story, my body physically felt better. Like I actually felt like I had more energy after I read a bedtime story. And you know, I felt like every day gradually I was like, okay, I can go downstairs. It might be a minute, but I did it. I can do it. And I felt like the challenge became addicting. Like I felt like, okay, what else can I do today? And it started to just become an internal challenge of like, what can I do? And I noticed like throughout my like it was 8 rounds, it was about just a little over 8 months of chemotherapy, is my cans started to increase, and I didn't focus on my can'ts as much. And just how that mind shift of what can I do, how that actually felt physically in my body. Just the less headaches, I wasn't crying as much, and I was able to kind of bring some humor, because I was like, okay, my head's in a toilet, so I can't do this today, but in the evening, I'm feeling better and I can do this. And so that mind shift really helped me, and I think physically helped me. And even, you know, prior to this, I enjoyed working out, I enjoyed walks, I enjoyed those things. And so my cans started to increase. And so by like month 4 or 5, I was like, I can walk outside for 10 minutes. I can do those things. And it's amazing how we are our worst enemy sometimes, because I go back to that internal war between my expectations as a mom and what I can physically do. And that's what I was focusing on until it was brought to my attention. Well, what can you do? And I never thought about that. I never thought about what I can do. And I think that, you know, we can take that anywhere in life, and use that in anything in life, is that sometimes we're just focused on what's not there or what we're not able to do. But trying to think outside of the box is, what are we capable of doing in this moment? And it was huge. It was huge for me, that mind shift, because a lot of nights I spent, you know, in bed or head in the toilet, and I just was a mess, because I was like, what I would give to open a door without gloves, what I would give to sit with my kids and sit at breakfast. And some of those really desperate days, I was like, what I would give to just be there while they're fighting, which was the one thing that I hated. What I would give to do a load of laundry, what I would give to go to Superstore, because chemo sucked. It just sucked, and it sucked the life out of me, and it took my family away from me, and it took my freedom, and it just sucked. And so that mind shift helped me to get out of that, and just to try and think about things differently. And even now, I was chemo free since November 2020. All my tests have come back clean. I'm waiting for one more surgery, but so far so good. And think going back to those really dark days of, you know, what I would give to do some of those things that we sometimes consider as mundane and like, oh, I don't want to do that. And, all of those things. And just how I see things differently now. And so even, my kids fight. I don't know about other kids, but they fight about 23 out of 24 hours a day, I feel like. And I don't even say anything anymore. I stop and I'm like, I missed out on this stuff. I missed it. And even though it's so annoying and, I would usually jump at it, but it's also when you sit back, it's so interesting to see their little personalities and what they're fighting for. And just those things that you miss that you appreciate, but you look at it differently. And I try to parent differently because I know what I lost at that time. And to me, this is a second reset life. And so it's like I just want to do things differently, and just view things differently. And especially with my kids, because that was one thing that kept me going, but also was so much guilt as well. It was just internal conflict where they would sit with you, but you feel like such garbage that you're not the nicest person to them, but all you want to do is be with them. And now I have that opportunity to be with them. And so how am I going to be with them? So it's definitely change. It's definitely continuing to change. Every day is a new day and every day is a new challenge. And this experience has really kind of slowed my thinking down as, okay, how am I going to do it? What can I do?
First off, thank you for making me cry. Your story is amazing. The one thing that I look at in life is, yes, we wait till the time that comes to us that says you're about to die. And then we figure out, oh my God, we need to make a change. And this is the story as a woman that we all go through. And we share this story to other women to say, hey, enjoy that laundry. Enjoy the kids playing and screaming and crying. Enjoy those tantrums. Hold their hands. Because if we don't have that second chance like you did, we will regret that on our deathbed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're so right. And when you're most vulnerable, that's unfortunately sometimes when it hits you like, wow, I have taken so much for granted. And even like just the mundane, like to-do tasks, what I would give in that moment to do that, because you're stuck. You're just stuck. You can't move physically. You can't move mentally and emotionally. It's draining. And what you would give to just be normal.
Your story is so big because what you've gone through, think about if somebody else went through that and did not live. The fact that you are able to be here today, you're able to share your story, you are the most strongest woman I know today. I am so proud for what you've gone through and what you have done. But what has happened and the learning lesson that you've learned, and now to share the story to the world, I'm at awe. The last time I heard your story, I made a lot of changes in my life too as well. First, what I did is I realized that I'm able to walk and I'm able to open that doorknob without any gloves. I am able to play with my kids when they shout. And when they shout and they're joking and they're screaming, I will take a deep breath and I'll go to them and say, okay, what's going on? And then we'll sit down, and just like how you said, right? You miss that. And I'll play with them to find out what the actual problem is. And that time that we play together, I realized that the shouting and the nagging and all that stuff that's really happening with them is because they're getting bored with each other, and they just needed that second or the third person to come in and play with them so that they can kind of change their surroundings with something else to do. I realized that when I do laundry, I'm able to do the laundry. I started to take each moment and write each gratitude down. I am grateful for my kids. I am grateful to be able to walk with them today. I am grateful for them, I'm able to read a book to them. And then I realized that tomorrow may never come.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I going to do with them today? And when you told me the story, I cried. I cried because, yes, I've gone through a similar stage as you, becoming celiac. And when they told me I had 3 out of a 4 chance of how bad my celiac was, so I was crying because I was not that mom that they needed at the time. And I realized that, do I want to die or do I want to live for my kids? And that's what you did. You lived for your kids and you fought for your kids. So where you are today, I applaud.
Thank you.
You still have a bit to go through.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, in this journey, I didn't allow myself to, have bad days. If I was having a bad day, I was like, and even prior to this, it was like, you can't have a bad day. You need to like keep moving. And I think when I allowed myself to feel the feels, feel what I'm feeling, and ride the wave, it was like, okay, this is where I'm at, and let's do it. Because what other choice? I felt for me, my choices were cancer is going to get a hold of me, or I'm going to get a hold of cancer, and I'm going to choose the latter. And so how am I going to do that? I don't want to push things under the carpet and then let things explode, because then cancer wins. I want to feel whatever I'm feeling, learn whatever I learned that day, and the next day I'm a little bit more knowledgeable in my journey, and that will help me get through that day. But it doesn't come right away. And it was amazing to me how many people suffer in silence, and how, especially when you're someone who's independent, and then to have that independence and freedom stripped of you. How am I going to go to people and ask for help? How am I going to go and talk about this? And so for me, I thank you for inviting me to your platform, because my biggest goal or hope is I don't want people to suffer in silence. It's a crazy roller coaster ride for sure. But whatever doesn't break you just makes you stronger, right? And so, yeah. So thank you for inviting me today.
Absolutely. There's something I want to share that you said on this podcast too, as well. First of the fact that you are here today, you're helping a lot of women understand that tomorrow could be their last day. You're helping other women to know that, yes, there's a lot of people that complain about their kids. They complain about not having time, complaining about not having enough sleep. But guess what? There's a lot of people out there that don't even get that chance to do what you're doing today. So where we are right now, we should appreciate what we have, because tomorrow may never come. The other thing that I love what you said, and I want to share it again, is by saying, how many people say, I can't lose weight. I can't be the person I want to be. I can't work out. I can't be with my kids. I can't play with them. I have a lot of things to do. I can't go out. I can't get up. And you just change that in one sentence by saying, change that around and see, what can you do? And look at how you change that by just changing that one sentence and saying, I can actually get up and try to go downstairs. I can read a book to my kids in bed. I can go and try to be with them. I can feel better in the evening. And that little I can made you stronger by just changing that. I don't know what to say to you, but I just want to say I am so amazed with everything you've said today, because this needs to be shared to the world. Because today, knowing the universe, the people that are around us, the amount of things that we complain about today, it's huge. If I see my kids running around today, I'll go and run around with them. I have a ton of to do, but I will now be with my kids. Yeah. I will now be giving my husband that big hug or that big kiss. I will give my kids that hug that they deserve every single day, at night and in the morning. I will stop saying I can't as much as I remember. And, yeah, you know, we do tell our kids, you can't do that. You can't do this. And I've tried my best to change that vocabulary, saying, okay, well, instead of doing this, how about we try it this way? Instead of saying you can't. And changing things in our vocabulary makes such a big difference. And Hanifa, what you've gone through, I am so happy that you're here today to be able to talk about it and make a big difference in people's life, because you are going to go big on this. I know you will.
Thank you.
I want people to get a hold of you if they needed to. I know people will call you and ask you questions. There are so many women out there that probably are going through the same thing that you just did. And they might want more information. They might want to talk to you. They might just want you to talk to them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How would they get a hold of you?
So I'm on Facebook, Hanifa Jassani, Jassani. I know that can be spelled different ways. And I'm also on Instagram at H Jassani as well. So like message me and then we can, yeah, go from there. But my this was a huge wake up call to me, and just in change, just change in general. And I feel blessed that I was given this second chance, and I don't want to waste it. And if I am able to support or talk to or whatever, with anybody who's going through, and maybe not even cancer, but like illness, like that can just anything, like it can just, yeah, it's tough. It's just tough. And I just don't want people to suffer alone. And so any questions or anything, I would love to be there.
I just wish I had you when I was going through my situation, because at the end of the day, like when I found out I was celiac, I did the same thing you did. I researched what it is, what's going on with me, why is this happening to me? Am I going to die? Do I have a lifespan of being celiac? Everything. I did all that stuff. And I wish I had someone to just understand what I was going through at the time. So if there is anyone out there, I do hope they do get a hold of you, because we need that support. We need that appreciation. And oh my God, what you've done to me has changed me in the way that I do things too as well. I will never complain about doing laundry again. I promise. I will never complain about my kids not behaving. And I will never complain again that I don't have what I have that is enough for me. I love where I am today. And I'm going to say, I'm going to live my life to the fullest because of your story today. So because you've changed me, I know you're going to change others. So thank you, Hanifa, for being here.
Thank you.
Anyone else that wants to get a hold of Hanifa, I will put all her details into the description below. And again, let's end it here. And if you've learned anything, you want to talk about anything, please do message me or Hanifa. We cannot wait to hear from you guys, and have a fabulous day, and we will talk soon. Have a great day.
Awesome. Bye.